Well, welcome to the Caravan. I am so excited to be bringing back this journey that we are now on. And we have with us here the amazing Ronald Murphy, who is going to be permanently in the Caravan with us.
Yeah, I'm excited because I was a huge follower of the Caravan
Aw,
before I was invited to join. And you even had me on the show a couple times as well too.
yes.
So really looking forward to this part of our life, this new chapter that's coming along quite nicely, and a chapter, quite frankly, that I would not even have started unless I was introduced to you. So this is kind of like
Aw.
a journey that we're taking together.
I agree. Well, it's one of those things too where I really wasn't sure what I was going to do with the caravan. How was it going to proceed? Was it just going to kind of sit in the dark forest from here on out? But after meeting you and doing several presentations, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is our greater calling. And
I think
yeah.
that's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. And as we've been talking in various places and in various venues, the paranormal as a field has been taking a little bit of a shellacking lately. I think that people are being drawn more away from the woo side of everything and trying to see it much more on a personal aspect. And I think that that is really what's spurring us on in this direction because everybody is going to have a unique insight into what they feel their experiences were or their engagements were with what we would call the supernatural. And I think that these kind of personal experiences require a holistic approach in the way that they're investigated and talked about. And I think we're just the people to do such a thing.
I agree. Well, this whole field, even though it began as spooky, scary stories, because of course, who doesn't love that? I mean, that's what got me into everything to begin with, from Goosebumps to Are You Afraid of the Dark? And
Right.
but it's a really healing field. There's
That
so much in regards to healing and growth and psychology, and it's been an amazing transformation to see it blossom into the things that we've been discussing at present.
Yeah, and as our friendship has grown as well too, I start finding out that you are also engaged in energy healing as well. And we talk about energy all the time. We talk about frequencies and we talk about vibrations. And I think that really that is one of those aspects that are so overlooked that the paranormal, or let's put it this way, the unexplained, the
Right.
preternatural, something that is out there that we simply I think we can all, even from a scientific point of view, acknowledge there's things out there exist that are unseen, right? But
Right.
what's so curious about this is these unseen forces tie us all together as human beings. And if that is the case, then that is worthy of study. And so you and I, we will definitely be investigating the haunted cemeteries
Mhm.
and the foggy woods that line the periphery of civilization. But we also want to keep in mind that one of our goals as well is to delve into the wilderness of the gray matter of the mind, which is just as spooky and labyrinthine as anything out there in the real world as well too. Maybe that is what creates the world around us. Our minds are what creates reality, and let's take a look into that wilderness of the mind and see what kind of lurks around in there.
You said it perfectly, and that's what I'm really excited for because there is so much within ourselves and within epigenetics, the things that are passed down through generations from our ancestors. All these things are worth exploring just as deep as we do the things that we want to find in the woods or the caves or what have you. So,
Right, right.
this is going to be an incredible journey, and I hope that everybody stays tuned, subscribes and shares it with their friends. So that way we can really get the word out and really start helping to bridge the gap, find the truth, and really start healing.
Right, absolutely. I agree 100%. So I think this may be a good point in our discussion to talk about what things that we're planning on offering, because this is really just the initial announcement. This is
Yeah.
kind of like the introduction to what is going to be going forward. But I think I want our audience to realize that there's nothing going to be static about the caravan.
Yeah.
Caravans are meant to be constantly rolling on, and that is our goal: is to constantly be progressive and out there and searching for things. So I think this is a good juncture right here to kind of start talking about the things that we're planning on introducing to our audience.
Right. I think one of the biggest things is the fact that, I mean, number one, first and foremost, is the power of the mind and how powerful we are that we really do create our realities. We create our surroundings. And so if our mind is made up of energy and the world is made up of energy, then we act as magnets and we really pull that stuff to us. So this is one really big topic that we're going to be going over. Another one is the archetypes that we love to talk about, from the wild man to dog man to vampires, if you want to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, right. So that's true. So we as humanity have these skeletons in our collective closet, things that we don't want to talk about. And we then have named all these elements about the humanity that we find so heinous and so monstrous. We now have cast that as the monsters that haunt our society, right? So what we have done as humans have become the werewolf and the vampire. So we're going to kind of drag these skeletons out of the closet. We're going to analyze certain cases and really get to the humanity
Mhm.
that underlies all these monstrous, cases throughout history.
Right. And then also on top of that, we're going to get into some of the really difficult things that can be really hard for us to face. And that is the fact that our bodies are incredibly intricate and they are powerful. So there are times when we are exploring the supernatural, the paranormal, and different people's experiences that we will actually find that it was our own mind that created it because it's a survival mechanism on how we deal with trauma. So we're also going to be looking at different parts of the brain, the healing centers, how cortisol is produced, what that does to our memory. And we're also going to be looking into how even our eyes function at night, which is something that we've recently been talking about as well, something called night myopia, which at nighttime, humans with our poor eyesight become nearsighted in the dark. And our brain so badly wants to put together these stories that if we have any kind of preconceived ideas or likes or interests, our brain's going to put those puzzle pieces together and we could actually see different shapes because our brain is putting it together, but then it's also mixing in with how our eyes misbehave, if you will, at
That's right.
night.
That's right.
So,
That's right. Yeah, but all that being said, I'll piggyback on that and say we're going to be looking at the psychology not only in the 21st century, but also throughout time. And you talk about this trauma that people endure. Let's talk about a collective human trauma that may indeed underline the idea of the collective unconscious that Carl Jung brought up. And by so doing, we can add an insight into what binds us together as humans instead of what separates us. So I think that as we go forward, we're going to be bringing in psychology and archaeology and sociology, art history, literature, and all these kind of different, um, uh, these different subjects and these different disciplines. And we're going to use these disciplines to focus in on what we call the paranormal and the supernatural. And in so doing, I think we're going to get a much clearer focus of what's going on.
exactly. And this is just, I mean, guys, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, it already seems so deep, but it just keeps going. And I'm really excited because it's one of those things where we really have come into, as I call it, the great forgetting. And so we have become very separate from all these different things that we used to know, you know, centuries ago. And as we explore this, we also begin to remember. And in remembering, we can understand some of our experiences with the paranormal and the functions of them. So, there can be a very dark side to things, but there can also be a very light side to things. And we really want to bring both sides together.
Right. And the only way you're ever going to chase away the darkness is by shining light on it. And that's what we are here to do. And that's one of the reasons why I love our logo so very much. It's because it's this lamp of wisdom, this lamp of knowledge that is seeking to illuminate the dark places. Because once the dark places are brought to light, then understanding comes into it, right?
Yes.
So that is our basis, is that we probably will never get to the ultimate answer. We're always going to be left with question marks, but that's okay because what we are going to have built, though, from our investigations is some sort of foundation of knowledge that maybe many people overlooked in the past.
Exactly, exactly. And it's a blessing because there are so many different camps within our field that have these different belief systems. From the fact that maybe Sasquatch is only paranormal, or it's only flesh and blood, or, dogman exist or they don't, or, whatever it is. And I really believe that through the work that we're doing, that we can build a bridge between all of the different camps and really reach that understanding. Because if we all realize that we're holding these puzzle pieces, and if we actually come together in love, really, and understanding and acceptance and openness, open-mindedness, then we can all put these puzzle pieces together. And I think that we'll finally get a lot closer to the actual truth than if we, step back and fight and say, no, it's this and no, it's that. Because, and again, this is a great thing about diving into psychology. There's reasons we do that. It is also a safety reason that we do that. But we don't have to do that. And we're going to
That's right.
explore that as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the reason why I'm so happy to be sitting aside you on this the caravan of lore as we basically look at the library of humanity and open up all these different books and try to find out what is going on. But we know that something is going on, right? From
Yeah.
the very beginning of time, people have been trying to grasp what the divine is, what their purposes
Yeah.
are in this world and what is on the other side. And we're still doing this. We've been anatomically human for maybe 100,000 years, maybe more than that. But we've been looking for answers to questions. So we're going to keep on posing these questions. We're just going to use them. We're just going to use different analysis in trying to get closer to the truth. And we have to look back into the past to understand our future, and that's what's going to go on. And that's why I'm so excited to not only be here with you, but also the people that are going to jump on the caravan as well.
Yes, yes, me too. I can't wait to see who we meet along the way, the different discoveries that we make along the way, because it's a very symbiotic situation here. Because
Right.
as we do this, and as we go to more conferences and we put on presentations, the way that we receive the audience, the stories that we get afterwards, the comments that people will be making on the videos. I mean, it's a blessing, and I'm so excited for, what we will receive as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that is the thing. I think you hit it really on the head. Is that without our audience, it is just you and I talking, right? We can do this at
Right.
any time. But the reason why an audience is so important is they get to pose questions and they get to debate on what we're talking about. And we basically learn from them. I mean, without a doubt, I know that I learn from an audience, and I am thrilled whenever there is criticism, because that can only be constructive and make us better researchers in the field that we are so passionate about.
Exactly. So we want to encourage everybody, no matter what comment you have. I mean, eh, always do things in kindness, of course, but whether you have a rebuttal, whether you have a different opinion, whether you have different research, whatever it is, agreeing, disagreeing, we want all of it because that is, like you said, this is how we grow. But this is how we all grow. And if we can
Mhm.
also show that we have that ability, that I don't know what the word would be, humility, I guess, to, then we also set that example that it's okay. It's okay to take on that role. It's okay to listen to other people's, because that can also be something that's very triggering for some, and they're unable to do that. But right there, this is a point of healing, and this is what we're here to do.
That's right. That's right. I love that. So, as we progress,
Mhm.
some of our plans, let's talk about some of our plans and some of our ideas. Now, we had professionally worked in the ghost tour industry for a while, you and I. And so I think that one of the first things that we're going to do, and hopefully, folks, I'm hoping that this happens sometime in October, because remember, we're throwing together things very quickly right now, and this is a very organic type of adventure we're embarking on right now. So everything is in constant flux, but we're hoping that in October, Ann and I will be able to get together and offer an in-person ghost tour of a couple of very cool places, and that's something we would like to invite people to come along with us as well. I mean, of course, that's one of our ideas, as well as having shows on everything from, nightmares to particular times in history, to what's going on in the UFO world, all these
Yeah.
kind of things. But I'm also excited now, like I said, this is the prime time to offer this particular platform. Because we're going to be going into the fall months and then soon the winter months, and everything will shut down. But as everything kind of shuts down, what Ann and I will be doing is we'll be planning for things for the summertime. And we've talked about various retreats that we may plan and various kind
Classes.
of outdoor adventures and stuff like that. And that's really what I want to talk with you about, because I think that people will be thrilled to know that they will be able to come and engage with us in person on something that could be very healing to them.
Oh yeah. No, and that's what I'm really excited for too, because there's a lot of people out there that are curious about different things, from how do I manifest? How do I meditate? What do you mean that your thoughts and energy does this? What's a real world example? And these are all things that we can provide within our classes, and also within Patreon as well. We do have a Patreon that we've started, and, right there is where we're going to really be able to post a lot of different like blog posts that kind of go into the different backgrounds of psychology, or talking about different terminology, because, we'll be talking a lot during these, interviews. And sometimes because I get so excited, I'll forget to really dive into an explanation of what a terminology means. So on Patreon, that's going to kind of help supplement that, to where you can go through, you can kind of reread, you can get a more intimate view of it, you can, further study from that. And then that's where we're going to have some of our announcements as well about classes that'll be coming up. I think that one of the great ones is definitely going to be how to manifest, how you can start seeing those connections that then lead into the real world, happenings. And I'm super excited about that. But then also the weekend retreats. That's going to be immersive. It's going to be healing. I mean, you will come in with being one person, and you will leave feeling lighter and a totally different. I mean, at least that's what I've experienced in my life when I've done these kind of things. And I've had some training on how to facilitate these, and it would be a blessing to be able to get to gift that to others.
Absolutely. So we know that there's this universal frequency out there. So let's try to get back to that frequency. That's my thing. In this busy world that we live in, where, years go by like days, and we're ultimately working ourselves to death. I think now is the time that we realize that we need to be grounded in a world so we can live instead of just exist, right? There's differences. So that's the one of the things that I want to bring about too, is the idea that we as humans need to manifest into something that we are designed to be, right? We are the stuff of stars, we are universal, and we need to manifest ourselves as being that potential, right? We need to understand that we're more than just a number on our job, and we're more than just a name or a title. We are so much more. And also in that interconnectivity, um, also brings about responsibility. So
Right.
we are going to talk about how this all relates as well too, and interacts. And ultimately, we become better people. We become better people not only for ourselves, but for everybody else we come in contact with as well.
And that is one of the things that I will probably repeat in numerous times as we go through this journey. I cannot advocate for therapy enough, and nothing has to be wrong with you to attend therapy. When we attend therapy and we learn so much about the human brain and about our own actions, and we dive into the relationship with ourselves, it is a profound transformation that can take place. And then when we enter fields like this one that we're in, or the many that are connected to it, and we talk to other experiencers, we talk to other researchers, the way that we speak, the way that we share, has everything to do with our relationship with ourselves. And so, as we're working on that, then we are kinder to those that we encounter. And I really think it's a key. It's this hidden key that really helps us get you know, so
Yeah,
much more deep into
that's
healing.
right. It is one of those universal constants in religions and in philosophies around the world. In Buddhism, you have this idea of manifesting goodwill to every living creature that you come across. And in Christianity, we have, do unto others as you would have done unto
Right.
you. So you have this thread in the human thought that in order for us to all kind of come along and get together and make this crazy world work,
Yeah.
is by putting ourselves in other people's shoes, and even just thoughts can manifest into beneficial realities. And that's the other thing that we want to posit as well as we go forward. Now, I don't want to make this also sound like you're trying to enter a cult that's going to be called the Caravan of Lore, because that is not the case, or not the intention at all. We're not some sort of charlatans or new age snake oil salesman.
Right.
We come from a very specific background. You have a background in facilitating and energy healing and everything like that. I have a background in counseling. So we're coming at this from a very professional level. And we just think that all of our insights that we have into this world and things that we've actually experienced has brought us to a point now where we can actually share this with other people.
Yes, exactly. That is one thing that when I started on my healing journey with myself, it was difficult. And then I really realized, I experience these things for a greater purpose. That way I can stand before people, whether it's at either on here or at a conference or what have you, and I can tell my story and it can hope, heal other people and really let people know, hey, these things happen. It's okay. We're not failures. There's so much more to life than we understand and realize. And if I can turn this into something that greater, then, that's a gift.
That's right. So, all that being said, my dear, how do people then become part of the caravan of war? What is the steps? Say that I just am tuning in right now and I say, this all sounds like a great idea. What is the first step that I need to take in order to jump on this crazy ride?
I would say, I mean, obviously, you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel because all of our talks and episodes are going to be right here on YouTube. And, hopefully we'll be going live. We'll be able to actually interact with the people that are live chatting. We'll be able to, answer questions at that time. You can also, I think the second best thing would be our Patreon. The Patreon is going to be where you can really dive deeper. You can stay more connected. You can also send us messages through there. There's different tiers, and we'll go over that in another episode. Then we also have, if you want to just follow along, we have a group and a page on Facebook that's called the Caravan Library of Lore. And that's where you could come and you could talk with other people that are also on this journey. I would love for there to be a really active community there of people that are, throwing suggestions and findings and research together because we're all in this together. We can't do it without you. So,
That's right.
yeah, subscribe to the YouTube, check out Patreon, join us on Facebook.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and like I said, I cannot wait to get started. The wheels have been all oiled up. It's getting ready to roll, and I can't wait for all these folks to come along with us as well.
Yes, me too. We can't wait. And thank you so much, Ron, for being on this journey with us.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. And like I said, things are only going to become more magical as we set out, and we will let this time of the year. Summer is slowly giving away to the fall, and the veil between this world and the next is at its thinnest. This is the best time to get started because we are seeking to actually breach through into the other side, this aperture in the veil, as you would say, so we can
Yes,
take a little look and see what happens over to the other side.
exactly. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
We'll talk to you soon.